Parade. Roland LaJoy is away, having some downtime. He'll be back a week from today. I'm Tom McLeod along with you. Got some more music in a bit. But Roland talks with some of the different members and give you a good idea what the great resources you can find at Lamoille County Mental Health Services. And he talks to different members and some different facets of what they do. And today it's my pleasure to talk to Monique, who's with Emergency Services. And good morning, Monique. I believe your title is Mobile Crisis Team Manager. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So what does that mean? What kind of work do you do?
So we are basically the safety net for mental health across Lamoille County.
All right.
So anyone who needs support, whether it's a full-blown crisis of someone having thoughts about killing themselves to just being lonely, tired, worn out, and needing a friendly ear. And we are available 24/7 to our whole community.
Well, that's excellent. That seems to be kind of the tricky thing sometimes. There's these services out there, but it's the communication and how to get connected to the right folks.
Right. It can be challenging. And I think as you and I were talking earlier, these days have been particularly challenging. It's been a very long year or so with folks doing their best to cope with the pandemic. And even though we're starting to come out of the tunnel, it's still really challenging for a lot of people. And just wanted to remind people that you're not alone and there are resources available to help, including our crisis team.
Yeah, and we talked about this off air as well. It's just uncharted territory. You have to be inside. Well, you had to. Things are opening up again, but the isolation and all of that we experienced over the course of the last year and then through the winter, that's an adjustment, and you could have had pre-existing conditions, and things like that can add to it. Exactly.
I think for folks particularly who've had challenges with anxiety or depression, the isolation of coping with the pandemic has really aggravated that. And even those of us who have never experienced anxiety or depression, we've all experienced some of that, I think, this past year. And we're very grateful for vaccines and for things opening up again. And yet, for some of us, it just isn't happening fast enough. And we're also trying to transition. We all got comfortable with isolation, and now we have to get uncomfortable with not isolating anymore. And there's still a lot of fears and concerns. So it's tough. It's tough days.
It is kind of interesting how adaptable we become, because when this first started, people, I don't really want to spend some time inside. What do I do now that we've done that more and more isolated? Like you say, now it's more of the challenge of getting back to how your life used to be.
It's true. And I think that, some of the populations that have been particularly affected are folks who are first responders. People in law enforcement, people who work at the hospitals, the emergency room. We have not had a choice about whether we can stay home or not. Some folks have been able to work from home, and that's been great, but not everyone has had that option. And people are very worn out. People are tired. And so just want to say a shout out to those community partners who have had to work nonstop through the pandemic. That we really appreciate all of you and all the extra efforts you've had to put in.
Is there anything that's part of your job that people are not aware of, or any question that you wish people would ask but they never do?
I think that sometimes people have the impression that our crisis team is only available to people who are in a really serious, out-of-control crisis. And while we do provide that service, we are available to people who just don't know what else to do. Sometimes we get calls that aren't necessarily something we can support, but we generally have an idea of what direction people can take. And so just want to remind people about that even if it's in the middle of the night, if someone is feeling lonely, scared, having some kind of issue with feeling alone, they can reach out to us, and we are happy to listen and to provide some other resources that they can try. So, for example, 211 is a great resource. There's a lot of information if people call 211 about short-term therapists you can talk to about coping with COVID, about issues with housing, about how to get a hold of a doctor. There's a lot of great information from 211 as a resource.
Yeah, some great points. And any other connections, ways to find out more about what you and the rest of the team do? What's the best ways to reach out?
Sure. We have a great website. Address is really simple. It's www.lamoille.org. So we always have information about ongoing services, also about different events. So, for example, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so there are some different pieces on our website that are new. We also have a Facebook page that people can access. And for our crisis team, our connection 24/7 is through Copley Hospital. They are our dispatch after hours. And that number is an easy number to remember because it's all 8. So it's 802 as far as area code, and then the rest is 888-8888.
Wow.
And if folks ask to talk to the crisis team, the staff at Copley will get your name, your phone number, they page us, and we call folks right back. During the daytime, weekdays, people can also call directly to our office, and that is 802-888-5026.
Well, that's some great and easy links there. Monique, thanks for spending some time with us here on 93.9 WLVB. Thanks for all the work, and the rest of the staff, all the work you do.
Thank you as well, and take care.
All right, take care. There's Monique. She is part of